Welcome back. While St. Lucia awaits approval from the World Health Organization for the use of a COVID-19 vaccine, the Ministry of Health and Wellness continues to prepare for its rollout in 2021. The rollout will begin with the communication and education aspects in January 2021.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness has organized the COVID-19 Immunization Committee, which is planning the rollout of the vaccine in country and is being done with support from the Pan American Health Organization. This plan will entail a health education and communication module scheduled to commence in January of 2021 ahead of the introduction of the vaccine. On Wednesday, Dr. Sharon Belmar-George said the policy development is in its early stages.
There are a number of aspects that are not completely defined and require policy decision, but just to let you know that we are waiting the approval by WHO of the vaccines that some of them are already being used. As soon as we get that approval as to which one that is approved in terms of meeting all of the safety trials, we will be sharing that with the public.
A number of recommendations will go to Cabinet, indicating the priority target groups to be focused on when the vaccine is introduced, as well as the country policy on the dissemination of the vaccine into the wider community, the policy on availability, cost, and conditions for uptake.
We are looking at our high-risk groups and our frontline workers, and we are looking at the policy for dissemination. Given that it is a new vaccine, we will ensure that the public gets all of the necessary information on it.
A stakeholder meeting with the health-related sector has been scheduled for next week. The Ministry of Health assures full stakeholder participation as it anticipates a broad level of healthy discussion and contributions for achieving the effective introduction of this new vaccine into country. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
Thank you, Nisha. The president of the Gros Islet Minibus Association, Danny Edward, is in the hot seat tonight at 8 p.m. Edward and his members joined strike action by Southern minibus operators initiated on Monday, the 7th of December. By Tuesday evening, word from the National Council on Public Transportation was that operations would return to normal on Wednesday. What were the terms that appeased drivers, and what would they like to see government put in place for the sector moving forward? Genevieve Gonzague reports.
Despite criticisms that the strike action undertaken by minibus drivers was ill-timed, President of the Gros Islet Minibus Association, Danny Edward, has defended the move, saying that the actions of the drivers brought much-needed attention to their plight. He appears as a guest in the hot seat with host Krista Rivera on Wednesday night.
If we could have protested rush hour, we would have protested rush hour, because we want our message to be driven home, and that is the correct time to do it. I apologize. This is not our intention to do any harm to the public, but we wanted our point to be driven home.
Many have criticized the recent action, labeling it a political move. Edward says that was not the case.
There's nothing political about that. We have, as I said, we have almost 400 membership. Are you saying that all 400 members are SLP or UWP? So we have a mixed fleet of members. So for somebody to say it is political, I personally am non-political.
Edward says there are a lot of changes that could be implemented by the government to improve the transportation sector. Many of them, he says, have been long agitated for.
First of all, they need to invest a few million dollars in the bus sector. And the way they could go about doing that, first, you improve the bus terminals, bus stops, just the small things along the way. You know, you drive from Castries to Vieux-Fort. Do you see any bus stops? People have to be standing up in the rain, you know, in the sun, in the hot burning sun. These are things that the government could do. Small things would improve the sector.
According to Edward, negotiations continue with relevant authorities to ensure drivers receive some of the relief they are clamoring for. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzague.
St. Lucia remains under scrutiny from the European Union as it relates to its tax haven blacklist. Attorney General Stephen Julian explains that the island is currently being reviewed to ensure that all processes are in order in an effort to prevent money laundering and terrorist financing.
On Wednesday, Attorney General Stephen Julian explained to the press that St. Lucia is currently being peer-reviewed in an effort to steer clear of the European Union's blacklist.
They are testing our systems to understand whether we have done what is required to stay off that blacklist. They are going to be examining how we transfer funds, whether we have put enough measures in place to prevent persons from laundering money, etc. So it is very rigorous.
The impact of being blacklisted are far-reaching and could affect the country's ability to borrow or transfer funds and other regional interactions. But is St. Lucia blacklisted?
We are in a position which we would not like to be in. We're trying to stay out of that zone. And we have seen cases, I will not name countries, where they literally cannot access financing or having great difficulty in getting that source, the funding that they require to pilot a lot of our projects, developmental projects, etc.
Julian explained that due to COVID-19, all reviews are being held via online platforms. He says the St. Lucia team, which comprises of the AG's Chambers, Customs, the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, the Director of Finance, and representatives from the Financial Intelligence Authority, are working to ensure that St. Lucia is seen as compliant when it comes to terrorist financing and money laundering.
St. Lucia is the first to enter this uncharted water, the uncharted waters rather, of a virtual plenary. Again, COVID-19. It makes our job a little more difficult because before you would have your assessors sitting across the table from you, and there's certain intangibles like body language, tone, etc. that you could pick up on when you are being evaluated. But we understand that this is the new reality.
The results of the review have major implications for St. Lucia's financial credibility with the EU. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
The jury is still out as to what will obtain for the new school term in January 2021. In a post-NEMAC press conference on Wednesday, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sharon Belmar-George said an announcement on the matter is imminent. This follows extensive consultation with key stakeholders in the education sector.
We're working closely with the education sector, and they've been having intense reviews and discussions on the plan for the new term. So I will not preempt the Ministry of Education. They will communicate to the public the plan for the second term very soon. They are presently also doing quite a few stakeholder discussions with their various stakeholders in preparation for the decision for next term. So very soon an update will be coming from the Ministry of Education with regards to the plan for the second term.
The school term ends officially on the 11th of December. The Education Minister, Dr. Gail Rigobert, has indicated that at no point in time will the health and safety of students and staff be compromised, and that the Ministry of Education will continue to be guided by the advice of the Ministry of Health and the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Sharon Belmar-George. In the meantime, students of some 39 schools have taken the opportunity to be engaged in face-to-face instruction before the current school term ends. The Gordon and Walcott Memorial Methodist School is one of the schools where grade 6 students have been welcomed back in a bid to ensure full preparation for the Common Entrance Examination in 2021.
Difficulties with access to devices and poor internet connectivity has caused at least one school to take up the opportunity to return to the physical classroom. The Gordon and Walcott Memorial Methodist School allowed their grade 6 students to return to face-to-face instructions when the country revised its COVID-19 protocols, which came into effect on December 1 until December 14. The school's principal, Margaret Gabriel, is thankful that the teachers embraced the opportunity despite the threat of COVID-19.
We have organized for a small group of our students to return to face-to-face instruction with their class teachers, and we are grateful for that because we have quite a number of them whom we could not have reached effectively via the online instruction. So we are grateful for this opportunity that they are back here in person in class and they are able to receive that instruction that they so need to prepare them for the exam.
Not all of the grade 6 students returned to the classroom.
Those who were not able to access the virtual learning, the online learning, they are back in school, in just a small group of them. Those who were able to access online, they are at home, they are completing tasks that the teachers have given them to complete and assignments and review exercises. But those who are not able to access the instruction, they are here, just a small group of them. It's an opportunity for them to receive some instruction with the face-to-face, seeing that they have missed out on the online instruction.
The principal says that all COVID-19 protocols will be enforced so that both teachers and students feel safe in being in a physical space together. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
You're watching the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Still to come, a government spokesperson fires back at claims that work on St. Jude has come to a grinding halt. A Babonneau resident gets a slithery surprise inside his vehicle's engine. And Massey Stores donates thousands to worthy causes.